Module 19, Lesson 3. The I can statement for Lesson 3 is I can build non-unit fractions less than one whole from unit fractions. Some of the key terms for today's lesson: fractional units, unit fractions, partition, equal parts, numerator, and denominator. If you have a dry erase board and marker, you can use that, or simply use a piece of paper and pencil for today's lesson. So to review, we can write the unit form for this model here as 1/2. We can also write the unit fraction form as 1/2, or 1/2. What does the 2 mean? Did you say equal parts because there are 2 equal parts? You did, great job. What does the 1 mean in this unit fraction? That's right, it's one of those fractional units. Our fractional units are halves. These pieces are equal parts, so they are fractional units and they are halves. And when we're talking about one of them, we are talking about a unit fraction. So take a look at this pizza. This is one whole. What is it partitioned into? Since we have 3 equal parts, we would call these fractional units thirds. Now what I'd like you to do is to draw a circle on your board or on your piece of paper and partition it into thirds. Then I want you to make a copy. When you make a copy, it means to draw another one. And I want you to shade in 1/3. One of the thirds shaded in. Now I'd like for you to make another copy, and I'd like you to shade in one more third, one more unit. So how many units are shaded now? That's right, 2/3 are shaded in, or 2 out of 3 equal parts are shaded in. That is what we call a fraction that is not a standard unit. Remember, a unit fraction is only one. It will always represent one part or one unit. The fractions that have more than one part shaded in are non-unit fractions. So take a look at this pizza. What would you call the fractional units for this pizza? Eighths. What is the unit fraction for this pizza? Remember, our unit fraction is always going to be what would one of these pieces units look like. 1/8, 1 out of the 8 equal pieces. So what I'd like you to do now is to draw a rectangle and partition it into 6 equal parts. So it should look something like this. What would these units be called? What are these parts called? It's equal parts and there are 6 of them. So it is 6. What would the unit fraction be? If we shade in one of these parts, what would the unit fraction be for this one unit? If you said 1/6, you are correct. Can you shade in 4 more units for me? Now, how many parts are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many total parts do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have some 6 that are shaded in. Can you help me count the shaded parts? 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6. So if we wanted to write that fraction, it would be 5/6. This top number is the numerator. It is the number that tells us how many pieces are shaded in. This bottom number is what we call the denominator. I like to think of it as the denominator is down at the bottom. Denominator, down. Both start with a D. Down, the number at the bottom, tells the total number of equal parts. So 5/6 are shaded, or 5 out of 6 parts are shaded. Let's try another one. Can you draw this square and partition it into 4 equal parts? What do you think we would call these parts? We have 4 equal parts. What fractional units do we have here? Fourths is correct. Great job. What would the unit fraction be? If we shaded in just one part of this fraction. 1/4. Good job. Can you shade in one more unit? Now, how many parts are shaded? There's 1, 2 parts shaded. And how many total parts do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 total parts. Let's count the shaded parts again. 1/4, 2/4. 2/4 would be our fraction. Remember, the numerator, the number at the top of our fraction, tells this part that is shaded in this fraction. The denominator will always tell the total number of equal parts. So 2/4 are shaded, or 2 out of 4 parts are shaded. So let's review some important words and terms we use today. First of all, this is a model that is a whole circle, and we have partitioned it into equal parts. What are the fractional units of this model? How many pieces do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So since we have 5 pieces, these would be fifths. Very nice. What is the unit fraction? What would the unit fraction be? What would one of these pieces represent? Just one. How can we represent one of these pieces? Did you say 1/5? If you said 1/5, you are correct. So now, do you think we can figure out what fraction of the circle is shaded? I don't know. Let's try it. Let's count. These are fifths, so we're going to count them that are shaded. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5 are shaded. What might let that look like? 3/5. Good job. Remember, we can write it in words, 3/5. We can write it in number form, 3/5. 3 out of 5 parts are shaded. This fraction has 2 special parts. It has the numerator, that's the number at the top, and that number at the top of our fraction tells me in this one how many shaded pieces we have. And we have our number called the denominator down at the bottom. The denominator tells me how many equal pieces I have in my fractional units. And in this one here, this model here, I have 5 equal pieces. 3/5 of the circle is shaded. Now you're going to complete your lesson notes. You can work on your worksheet or on a piece of loose leaf paper, and you're going to use the information that we learned in the lesson today to complete a few questions. Make sure you take your time, and if you have to, go back and listen to the video again.